Hi everyone, my name is Mico. Many of you know me from the Excelsius Gurus, and I am one of the Reportapalooza experts. Today I'm going to share a trick with you in Crystal Reports that I call summarizing data. And basically what I'm going to show you is how to show your running totals for a summary set of data in the header of the report as opposed to the footer, which is the default location for the summarization. Like many of you, I am a Crystal Reports beginner, though I'm an Excelsius guru. So let's go ahead and get started and learn together. So this is just a pretty neat trick that I kind of put together here after kind of learning with one of my colleagues. Okay, so to get started, you see here that I have two reports that I pre-created. One is called condition and totaling before, the other one is called condition and totaling after. And so these are two reports that I pre-created. And so what it shows here, you'll see that I use what we call the Extreme database. And this is just a Microsoft Access database that you can go online and download. And so I use this database for my data, and I just go into data, set location. And this is how I import the database. I set it to location locally on my desktop. I press update, and then you can see that there's some properties here for that. So I didn't mess with the properties, and then I close. And then what I have here are condition and totals. You can see I have a list of customers and a list of their sales for last year. So to get started, what I want to do is I want to run totals. I want to show a list of customers that have over 150K in sales per year. And to do this, I want to go to running totals, which is an out-of-the-box functionality in Crystal Reports. And running totals has a few fields here. One is you can pick the field you want to summarize, then you can pick a type of summary, sum, count, etc. And then you can add an if statement by using a formula. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to see last year's sales, for instance. So I click field to summarize. And then I want to do a count of last year's sales. And I want to do that, we'll click on formula here, only if the customer last year's sales is greater than $150,000. Okay? So I'm basically setting my formula, and I press OK, and then I have to go into design mode, and you'll see here that this is a 6-page report. Okay, so in design mode, I drag that field onto my report, and I'm just going to delete the title here. It's kind of generic. And then I go into preview, and you basically see what I have here is a count. So like for 11 cat cycles, you see I have the first customer that has over 150K. If I scroll down to page 2, you see I have about 14 customers. So it basically is a running tool. It counts again the next customer, which is TechVex. And then if I go down over to page 6 of my report, you'll see that I have 15 customers. Just going to drag that down here, that have sales totaling above $150,000 a year. Okay, so pretty simple. I use the running total out of the box, and I gain a count for how many customers have $150,000 or more per year. Now, you'll see that we're on page 6 of the report, and part of the problem is that you see I'm going backwards to page 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you look on the footer, the actual running total doesn't appear in the footer. Okay, and this is out of those pages. So what I want to do to fix that is I want to move my running total to the header of my report. Because a lot of times customers have the need to see their summarization of their data on the header. And you'll see here, if you do that, it goes to 0. And this is because the running totals in Crystal Reports are basically topped out. Okay? So putting the running totals on the header doesn't work. I have to put it back in the footer. So what I have here is just a customer label in Crystal Reports. And now you see that my label is lined up with my count. It says customer sales greater than 150K. Now, another way to do this, you saw we had the problem with the running totals, is I now want to move forward to get my details in my header. And to do that, I simply go to the regular formula fields. And you can see here I'm just writing the name of the formula, sum of sales greater than 150K. Made a little bit of an error here. Now, once I do it in the formula, I basically build up a formula that says if customer sales are greater than $150,000, then 1, if 0. Okay? And essentially what this is this is basically just a count. So what I'm doing is manually creating an account. Oops, I forgot a zero at the 150,000. Let me go ahead and add that. Okay, and then I press save and close. And so now I've created a formula that does the same thing our running totals do. So if I bring that onto my report here, just line that up on a third column, and then go into preview mode. What we see here is that if we look at on our page 1, where is it? Okay, there we are. We're on page 1. Okay, so Alec Cat Cycles is identified as having a count of 1. Tech Bikes has a count of 1. So what it does is it basically puts a flag of 1 for any customers that have over 150,000 in sales. So now I want to do a count of that. In order to do that, I'm going to right click on my object here. Oh, not there. I'm going to right click on my object on the report, go to insert, and click on summary. And what I see here is I want to change this to sum. And what this will do is exactly what our running totals was doing, which it will count the number of ones we have in that column. Okay? So if we look here and we go to page 6, you'll see I have 15.00. So I just need to format that. So what I basically did is I used a formula instead of the running totals that are out of the box of history reports to do the exact same thing. And what I'll show you now is the benefits to doing this is this does not have to be stuck in the footer. So once I'm done with formatting it, if I go back to design, I can actually now grab this new object formula I've created, put it in the header. I'm going to grab my label and put it up there as well. And if I go to preview and on page 1, let me just line this up. You'll see, voila, now the count is there. So if I go back to and you see that the running totals is still on page 6. So if I go back into I'm just going to get rid of that. Well, before I get rid of it, let me show you one more time. Let me drag the running totals up to the header so you can compare. And once again, as you'll see in preview mode, my formula works, but the running totals goes to 0. Okay? So this is very important. So the trick here was that if I want to summarize my data, this is a little bit of a workaround, because in a real world scenario, most people want to look at their summarization of their data on the top. In addition, I can delete this column, the third column I created, and you'll see that the formula field still stays intact. It still has the count up there. Okay? All right, so this is a little trick that I learned. I have to give credit to my friend Mike Garrett, who has authored the Crystal Reports Connecting to SAP book from SAP Press that came out earlier this year. I hope you guys enjoyed the trick.